Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Mark with My Front Range Living. And this week, we got to talking a little bit, and our buddy Ken asked some feedback about where the market's headed as far as a crash or anything else like that. So, Amber and I got to talking. Is the Colorado Springs market gonna crash? Is there a bubble that's ready to pop? And so we started doing some digging, and we thought that y'all would appreciate some of these numbers. So let's go ahead and hop in here. Let's go ahead and do the darn thing and get started. So if you're thinking about buying or selling a home in Colorado Springs, you're moving to Colorado Springs, man, you're just living in Colorado Springs and you want some numbers that maybe you haven't otherwise seen, this is a great video for you. Now, look, I get it, and Ken's the same way. Ken's watched a lot of our content, and Ken, we appreciate you, buddy. But here's the reality. We are being bombarded from so many different angles with so much information, and it's wildly varying, right? That's a big deal for us. The market's horrible. The market's terrible. The market's going to do this. The market's going to do that. The reality of it is no one really knows what's going to happen. And so we just started taking a look at some numbers from a couple of different areas, and we're going to give you those sources. And we want you to make up your mind because, man, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm just thrilled to be here today, right? So let's take a look. So according to Fannie Mae, and for those of you who don't know, Fannie Mae just one of those federally backed mortgage providers, right? So this is a major player in our industry. Fannie Mae, according to Fannie Mae in August, the percentage of buyers who thought it was a good time to buy, or the percentage of people who thought it was a good time to buy, went up. While at the same time, the percentage of people who thought it was a good time to sell went down. Now, I like that stat, and I really, really like the source being Fannie Mae because they are a major player in our industry, obviously. And that's just people. That's not necessarily people looking to buy or sell. That's just folks. Hey, give me what you think the pulse is of our current market. So more people thought it was a good time to buy, and fewer people thought it was a good time to sell. Keep that in mind. So we always talk about renting versus buying. I get it. But for today's purpose, we went to Rent Report. So Rent Report is where we got these numbers. So rent went up from June to July 4% on a one-bedroom home. It was up 39% over the same time frame year over year. 40% increase in rent. That's crazy. Now, I forget the guy who was running a couple of years ago in New York who said the rent was too damn high, but I'll tell you right now, a 40% increase year over year justifies what that dude was talking about. So for a one-bedroom rental, and now granted, this is nationwide from Rent Report, right? The average rent for a one-bed was $1,770. So let's look at a two-bedroom, which is most likely what people are going to rent out there. And again, this is nationwide according to Rent Report. June to July, it was 2.8% month over month increase, 38.3% increase annually. So both of them about 40%, right? Year over year. Now, granted, that's annually, but get this next one, okay? According to the Census Bureau, the median, and we'll talk about median here in a second, the median mortgage payment, according to the Census Bureau, is $1,100. We could stop the video there if we needed to, right? $1,100 is the median, which means 50% of the mortgages in the nation are higher than that. 50% are lower. Yes, mine's higher. I got it. And it doesn't matter whether or not you agree with it. These are the numbers that the Census Bureau is giving us to go off of. So you've got the Rent Report giving us those rents. You've got the Census Bureau giving us this median mortgage price. Folks, I mean, make up your mind, and we talk about this all the time. It's specific to your situation. It may make more sense to go ahead and rent for a while, and more on that in a second, but let's at least sit down and talk about or have a conversation about what it looks like for you in that space. So, yeah, that's rent versus buy, right? So the next set of numbers that we're going to give you are straight from the Pikes Peak MLS, and as we do every single month, with our market updates. If you want to see the most recent one, right here, that's for August of this year. But we went to the Pikes Peak MLS, which means that's Pikes Peak and the surrounding areas, not just necessarily Colorado Springs. If you want specifics on that, feel free to reach out. But dig this. Normal. We always talk about a normal inventory. What does a normal inventory mean? A normal inventory is if we don't put any other houses on the market and we sell at our current pace for 6 months, that's how many homes we need. That's a normal inventory. So dig this. August of this year, we had 1,366 sales, which, granted, that's down from years past, right? But 1,366 homes. If we multiply that by 6, we need 8,196 homes on the market, and we just don't have it. We're right around that 2,600 mark right now for August. We're still really, really low in regards to inventory. Now, I know what you're thinking, Mark. What if that just keeps going up and up and up and we do hit 8,196? We could, but the point is right now, these are the numbers. We had 1,366 sales in August, so 6 months of not adding any more. We just keep that level, right? We have to have almost 8,200 homes, and we've got just over a quarter of that right now. We're just not there for a normal inventory. More on that in a bit. Days on market. This is where a lot of people are hanging their hat. Well, the house is sitting there. The house is sitting there. The house is sitting there. The last 2 or 3 years, I mean, and let's be honest, 24 to 36 months is a very long time to be in the market that we were in. The reality of it is we're clearly not there anymore. But if you go back 5, 6 years when people thought the market was good before it went insane, good is just fine. It doesn't have to be insane like it was the last 2 or 3 years. In fact, Amber and I have been talking to you over and over and over the last couple of years. That's not sustainable. The pace we were at simply wasn't sustainable. So days on market is at 17. Gang, that's not that bad. If you look at August of 21, when we were almost at the peak of the frenzy last year, right? Average days on market was 9. We're only a week ahead of that. The house is only sitting out there 1 more week. I don't know if all the doomsday conversation is justified just now. The 17 days on the market is pretty freaking good. Like 5, 6 years ago, I can remember when it was 20, 21, even up to 24 days on the market. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what houses are. They just sit out there for a while and buyers have options. That hasn't been the case the last 2 or 3 years. And so people, it seems, got used to that pace. And that's just not where we are. We're back to a more balanced market. And nobody's more excited about that than Amber and I, because the last 2 or 3 years have just been crazy. Anyway, price decreases. Everybody says another indication is, look at all these price decreases. This price drop, this price drop, this price drop. Yes, they did. As a matter of fact, if you are looking at the Pikes Peak MLS, about 50% of the homes that are on the market right now saw a price decrease in August. That's true. Half the homes on the market experienced a price decrease. Now here's the deal. The average price decrease was 3%. On an average sales price home of $531 in August, that's just over $15,000. That's not a ton. I promise you, and again, the value increase from August of 21 to 22, right, according to our last market update, was 6% year over year. The price reduction was only 3%. So if you bought it, held on to it for a year, and for whatever reason you have to sell now, you're still ahead of the game 3%. Now, again, I understand the extenuating circumstances. There's all types of different information to gather in all this. But the reality of it is the sky doesn't seem to be falling just yet. Now, yeah, it's not 20% increase year over year. It was only 6%. But the price decreases are only 3%, and then they're selling. So that tells me a couple of things. Number one, an appropriately priced home in a desirable neighborhood with the appropriate upgrades is going to sell quickly. That's just the bottom line. The market value is there. And so some people are trying to take advantage. Well, maybe we can, maybe sellers are overpricing a little bit to see what they can get. They dump it that 3%, boom, it's selling. So we definitely want to keep an eye on that. So let's look at sales, all right? Because everybody's like, oh, it's slowing down, which could be the case. But let's look, because like you said, the last 2 or 3 years, there has been a lot of frenzy, right? So in 2018, right, before the frenzy and all of this stuff happened, right, sales for 2018 were 10,824. 2019, sales went to 10,785. They actually went down from 18. But then we get into 2020 and 2021, right? So 2020, we had 10,946 sales, up. And then 21, we had 11,854 sales. Gang, it's not sustainable. And we said that over and over and over throughout our market updates in the last year and a half. That is a crazy pace, right? So this year in 2022, we have 11,083. Second only to 2021. So in 19 and 20, we've already outpaced them. And that's for this year, right? So historically, we're looking at a pretty good sales year regardless, okay? Now that said, there's different circumstances. You're going to get a lot of different information, but we thought that these were interesting numbers to share. So what's impacting all of this? Well, obviously, mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are a thing. We have to keep that in mind. And the Fed just raised them, I think, another 3/4 points today. Right now, I understand that the Fed rates aren't a direct correlation to the mortgage rates, but still closely tied together. And there's a bunch of different information, but it's safe to say that we're going to see another two increases before the end of this year. Just in this last quarter of 2022, we're probably going to see at least two more increases from the rates. So I understand that rates aren't 2 and 3 anymore, and that's dramatically impacting affordability. That's probably going to bring prices down a little bit. So it's safe to say that affordability has been impacted. I got it, right? For us, we've been looking at homes, and obviously as interest rates go up, what we can afford changes. On top of the rates, insurance premiums are up about 25%. We've seen it a couple of times already where we have had to back out of contracts for our buyers because they go to get insurance quotes and they're like, whoa, we thought we could afford this, but when you add the insurance in, this is a pretty expensive house, especially in those higher risk areas, say Black Forest or those that could be prone to fires and things like that. We got to keep it in mind. That happens. And another thing, we've talked about it all freaking year, like it, love it, hate it, it doesn't matter. Politically, the midterms are coming up, and we really think that that's impacting the market. People are just unsure. There's a bunch of timidity out there right now, and we're just having to watch it. That's okay. What I'm trying to tell you is I don't think the sky is falling. What we're looking to do, it's not a bubble that's going to burst. It's not a crash that we're going to experience. In 7, 8, and 9, it boiled down to reckless lending. There's no question about that. That's no longer the case. Like, what it takes to qualify for a mortgage now, it's pretty substantial. They're not messing around. Lending institutions aren't just giving people money, and they're certainly not giving them more than they qualify for. So that's a very real difference between 7, 8, and 9 and now. Now, granted, we're seeing price drops. We are seeing a little bit of a shift back to what I would call a normal, balanced inventory. I think we need that. I think that buyers need the opportunity to take a look at multiple homes and have the time to breathe to see what they want to offer on it. And I also think that sellers need to expect it's not going to be a 24-hour close. You're going to have some tolerance, and you're going to have to work together to make a win-win. And that's okay. I don't think that constitutes a bubble bursting, and I certainly don't think it's a crash. We did some research today. Colorado Springs population has grown 69% since 1992. Over the course of the last 30 years, Colorado Springs, not El Paso County, those numbers are even higher. Colorado Springs has grown 69%. Colorado Springs is just about out at capacity now. And so now you're going to be looking at Fountain, where they can build. Falcon, where they can build. Peyton, where they can build. You're looking at all of these outliers. Monument is building, right? There's just a bunch of stuff going on. And so our area, El Paso County as a whole, I believe is in the 70s for population increase in that same time. People are still coming to Colorado Springs. So there's just a lot of things to keep in mind, right? Again, I'm not saying run out and buy a house. That's not what I'm telling you. What I'm saying is let's take a step back, let's process the numbers and see what fits for your particular situation. I absolutely agree right now that if you're only going to be in Colorado Springs for a year, we really need to take a look at renting. That may be the best option for you. But from a long haul, we talk about residential real estate being a fantastic investment over time. Think of it like your investment accounts. Set it and forget it. Put that money in there. If you look at it every single day, if you look at the value, it's going to drive you bonkers. It just is, right? And so that's why buy the house, hang on to it for a while. If you know you're going to be here for a period of time, you're going to see an equity gain. I guarantee that equity gain is going to happen. You just have to be in it for a period of time. Again, for those who bought in 6 and 7, if you still have that house, you've recognized an equity gain. But if you're only going to be here for a year or two, maybe we do have that conversation now. It's not what it was last year. So the point is, feel free to reach out. Let's talk about your specific situation and see if it makes sense for you. So gang, thank you so much for sticking around. This is a much longer video than what we normally put out, but we thought that this information was really, really valuable, especially for you, Ken, because we know you asked and we appreciate you. So take a look at these numbers, see if it makes sense for you, and feel free to reach out. So if you would like to reach out, you can go in the description of the video. Down below you will see our website and all of our social handles. Feel free to follow us on social or reach out via the website. We are happy to help you out. If you are thinking about moving to Colorado Springs, there's a relocation guide, a link to our relocation guide in the description. You can click on that. Some information about Colorado Springs that may help you out just a little bit. Just gives you a little bit better idea of some of the different areas in town. As always, it means the world that you stuck around and took a listen to today's content. It would mean the world if you went below and liked, gave us a thumbs up on today's content. It would mean even more if you went down below, clicked on the bell, and subscribed to our channel. We're putting out content every single week to help you make Colorado Springs feel like home. Gang, we are grateful for you. We appreciate you. Thanks so much for stopping by. We look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day.